back up. Like it's supposed to go right, connect right back to the stream. There we go. And we're back live again. Ryan 59. Let me call up the 50J. 50J.
Okay. Connected. No. And there they are. Okay.
Sweet. All right. We go to share. Share. I know you guys watching this love all of this. So we'll keep doing it. Share.
Technology.
Don't ask me why I've got flowers on my thing. I can't stand it.
Hey, Mike, why do you have flowers on your thing?
On my desktop, it just drives me nuts.
NVTS nuts.
Yes. Okay, hold on. What's going on? Let's do a rock show, shall we?
Yes, we shall. Let's.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Welcome to another episode of the WTF radio show here on 99 WNRR on the YouTube as well. Thanks along for having us for the ride. I am a little coarse in the horse and the voice and whatever, but along for the ride, I am Mike.
I am Joe, and my voice is fine. Thank you.
Yes, thank God one of us is all right.
Okay.
This is just shit. So, how's everybody out there in Radio Land? What's going on?
Anything?
Missed you guys. Been a while. Been a while. Can you guys hear us? Are we coming in clear? By the way, thank you.
Are we coming in clear?
All right, lots to do, lots to talk about. Got a little something special for you tonight. We're going to do the first of a series of ratings. We're going to listen to bands that have been selected for this week's vote on the countdown. Just a couple of them, just a handful. Next week we'll do 4 more, and we're going to listen to a track. We'll comment on them and see what we hear. Joe coming from the fan perspective, I'm coming from the musician perspective, so we'll both have something hopefully important to say about each individual track. Some good points, some bad points, and stuff like that, and all about that's what a review is about, and that's what we do. The home of the Launchpad Live since its inception here on the about 12 years ago. So it's going to reside right now here on this show, the WTF. So we'll be welcoming next week those fans in there into the chat room as well. So it's going to get pretty interesting and pretty packed. So yeah. Yeah, CJ, you nailed that one on the head. Jeez, you oh, God. That's perfect, CJ. Absolutely nailed it. So tonight we're going to be talking about bands that had switched their singers and whether it was a good move or a bad move or a necessary move. And I'm having a little fifi sandwich.
We might want to wash that down so you can talk a little bit clearer.
Yeah, I actually am. So yeah.
Yes. And I tell you,
So,
I got a nice cup of hot chocolate on this cold fall day.
mm,
I mean, it's just,
yeah, this, yeah, right.
we're back
It's
in summertime.
what's I mean, this is insane what's going on. It really is. I mean, we're going to be expecting this now for a while. Yeah, global warming, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as global warming.
It,
It's
just,
70 degrees, set 80 degrees, and it's November what, 6th.
yeah,
Okay.
that's okay. I'm good.
That's all right.
Not a fan of too cold. I'm happy.
I actually love the cold. I actually really do. I'm not a fan of that I miss weekly picks. I didn't see them this time, but it's been a crazy week. Yes, it has been. No, I don't, you didn't miss picks from me. I'm actually in the process of gathering up a whole stack of them, and I'm going to start rattling them off one by one by one by one. I was going to do something on Permanent Waves by Rush, but my copy is crap, believe it or not, on vinyl. So I have to take it back to where I bought it from and say, "Hey, look, this copy is for an original pressing. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but this I don't recall hearing this. It's kind of like it's all when you put the needle on it, it's kind of like all just sounds distorted. It's like it's all not that it's scratchy, it's
Yeah.
like something was wrong with the pressing of it, like the grooves weren't deep enough. So yeah, that record,
Yeah.
yeah, side two, one of my favorite all-time sides of any record. Love how that goes. So we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to listen to some music tonight, depending on how my voice carries on. So I probably could think probably going to be a 90-minute show or something like that.
Well, if we get on a roll.
Yeah, if we get on a roll. Voice for Malou or Melt. What?
Oh.
What is she talking about? She's going to, she's like off the deep end. Thank you very much, CJ. Loving what you're doing. Thank you so much. Just hope you forget about the bad Rush copy. It almost does. It almost does. Although Mr. Fex will be upset when I call the rest, call it a night. She'll be like, again? And I'll be like, yep, again. Thank you for the opening as well. And all right. How you been?
I've been okay. You know what? Let's I'm gonna continue on something small from last week, and I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. Made this for my kid. Wore it to school. He won an award for most original costume.
How was it original? You copied off of a band.
He did not like
Actually,
original
believe it or not,
costume.
I'm actually so stoked that he won.
Oh,
I'm just busting your chops.
I,
It's my job as an Irishman to bust your chops. But I love the fact, dude, that he won it.
and
And it looked phenomenal. It looked
I
phenomenal.
predicted it. I said, Jace, you wear that, you're coming home with an award. And sure enough, he texted me the award. He was like, "You son of a bitch." And everybody loved it. Of course, not a lot of people knew who he was, but I mean,
The costume was Devo.
oh yes,
Yeah.
my son was dressed up as Devo.
Can you put a picture in the chat room, Joe?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I can.
No, I can. I think I can do that.
All right. All you gotta do is find it, drag it to your desktop, and then just click the thing.
There we go. There it is. Posted. Might not be as delightful as CJ's, but
yeah, absolutely. He looks like he'd be in a band.
And yeah, that's the one without the whip. I made him a nice little whip as well. He couldn't wait to dress up and go to school.
Absolutely. Hey, before we move on, big shout out to Sean. for a great debut. Good show.
Bravo.
Absolutely loved it. So I absolutely rock. Cannot wait for the next one. So congratulations, brother, on launching on 99. And oh, for those of you who also you guys are tuning in, we're not in the chat room on DGR, but you can hear us on darkiftradio.com as well. That is the station that really was the concept for me to get into internet radio. And Sean, RIP, I always think about your brother, miss you. And he was the guy who got me launched in doing this stuff, and I miss him. And he'd be having a ball if he was around, that's for sure. Cancer's a son of a bitch, man. And
Hell yes.
yes, it is. And hopefully we can knock this thing out sometime soon.
Yes.
But but otherwise, I mean, geez, when we go like, gee, how was your week, Joe?
That was about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? It all come. That is CJ. Way to go! See,
Yeah.
just like him. I'll do this. I'll say this because obviously everyone's out there, and I am about. I was watching Kamala's address to everybody today, and I was just like, it was great. It was Martin Luther King-esque. It was a phenomenal speech about together, but also, keeping minding the house, keeping an eye out and look out for each other and take care of each other. And that was exactly the message that it needed to be. So, I mean, that being said, that was cool. But I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to go into deep politics. I saw that I thought it was a great speech. But the one thing that occurred to me today was that, which was really like, dude, it really, I mean, I'm kind of changing in many ways as far as like, I don't get upset. I get disheartened. And I talked about I posted about one of the issues because I care about women. I care about women's health. I care about what could happen to them. I explained to my daughter about, what to me one of the main things were, and I explained it to her and her husband to be about what could possibly happen. And this is what it means from a legal standpoint, yada, yada, yada. And I did that just in the realm of just saying, hey, ladies, this is my recommendation. This is what you should do to take care of yourself. And it's just like, and it's not what was said. The one thing I can't stand, Joe, is somebody who I haven't talked to or haven't ever talked to. There's some people, like there's some musicians that I've talked to before. So if you've talked to me, if you've commented on my page, if you've wished us well, asked us how we were doing, how's the family, how are you doing in your battle, yada, 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 love the show, don't like the show, love this band, don't. If you're in communication with me, I will accept you, whatever response you have to put on my page on whatever I say. It's social media. That's fine. I will do that. I will engage in that. When you don't engage with me, but somehow you're my friend because you're a friend of a friend or married to a friend of mine or whatever, you don't engage with me on a regular basis, but then you feel the right to comment on my page, not me commenting on your page, you commenting on my social pages. What are you doing? By the way, it's been a little rough the past couple of weeks. I got some stuff going on, seeing the oncologist tomorrow. Thanks for asking, kind of thing. It's not like you're fishing for, someone to ask you how you are. I know how the hell I am.
Yeah.
It's people feeling that they have a right to go on your page and start being offensive to you. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't know, or you're an idiot, or whatever things that they want to say to you. You have no right to do that. That's my page. If I did it on your page and you want to come back at me, that's fair game. But I don't do that. I don't punk somebody else's page ever. I never
Right.
punk somebody else's page. That's their private page. So this whole social, so between you and I'm going to tell you right now, that herd's going to get real thin. That herd's going to get real thin because, it's kind of like you're at the point where you're just like, I don't care. I don't need that. I have other things. I have a grandson. I've got battle I've got to do. I've got a show with my bestie. And I've got so many other things that are so wonderful to look forward to, and so many things that I'm wonderfully engaged in, that to do this constantly is a waste of time. Waste
Yeah.
of time. It's a waste of life. It's a waste of time. Um, so yeah,
It's
whatever.
also what Facebook does is it gives people a voice, be it positive, be it negative. For every good thing it's there for, there's two bad things it's there for.
Agreed.
Also, a lot gets lost in text.
Oh,
So much
absolutely.
gets lost in text. And it's a matter of like you may, again, you posted something and something could have been lost in text, but then somebody was in a bad mood, or you rubbed them the wrong way, they woke up on the wrong side of bed, or they woke up on the right side of the bed and just couldn't wait to find an
Pounce.
excuse to
Pounce.
rip into it.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, there was a contest, your team won. And there are plenty of good people out there that their team won and they're like, okay, we won. We're happy. Let's move forward.
Exactly.
A simple post, a simple picture, simple words, a sentence. Life, this is it. Let us move on. Other people, it's like they were chomping at the bits. They could not wait.
Mm-hmm.
12, the second it was announced, they got on, and it was just, it was like, they couldn't wait. Ha ha, you were all wrong. I was part of the right team. I was, and and it just gets exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't think anyone has ever posted anything political and it has changed my mind. And
No.
again, you have freedom. You have freedom. You have freedom of speech, but watch what you say. And times like this, it's okay. Your football team lost. Yeah. You get on and, it's like asking for a friend who won the game. Ha ha, funny, funny. That's fine. But to just take it to that next, where not only are you just, rubbing it in the face, but you're rubbing it into a face with salt and alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and you want to make sure that it burns,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that it just, and it's a shame. It really is. Scrolling through, I got friends that we got friends that we just, this is something we don't agree on. I have a friend I've known my entire existence
Mm-hmm.
and had a sit down with him, and he's one way, I'm another way. Spoke our mind, stayed level and calm, and just said, you know what? How about we agree to disagree? And he was like, yeah, that works.
Are you saying you're not like other guys?
But
No. Are you saying you're different?
yes. Oh, hell yeah. And you just have to, we can disagree on things, but to pounce and say, I was right, and to wave your flag and to put your chin up and puff your chest out like you were solely responsible. And you can't wait to not only tell everybody, but those you just want to, I don't know who, but you just want to make sure that there are some people that are reading it that just get a little bit more oomph behind it. get a little bit more offended, get a little bit of more, and that's why I, again, don't talk politics and I don't talk religion.
Yeah. And that's why we really don't bring it here. What we're talking
Right.
about is really not about politics. We're talking about people.
Right.
So understand whatever our stance is, we don't care. Matter of fact, I woke up and I said, you know what? And I said this to Chris, and I said, you know what? Just like any election, half, half, even more than half of the people voted that way. And you know what? In every other election prior to this, prior to the one in 2016, that's our president. And whether we agreed or disagree, one side got it. Okay, great. We'll see what they do for 4 years. And we went on our way and we lived our life. We
Yeah.
weren't defined by who was in the White House, or what was going on with that. We weren't defined. We went and lived our life, whether it be the economy was good or bad, indifferent, something like that. And I actually had a friend call me just before I got here, friend for a while. And we kind of had this discussion, although it was more of a faith-based discussion, and he agreed to those lines of the way that people take it. Not only that, but the one great thing, a friend of mine, Mark Smith, from way back in grade school, he made probably the most poignant post that I saw. All he did was show a picture of the sunrise over one of the bays along New Jersey. And he didn't write a word, but it spoke volumes. It basically said, the sun will come up. The sun came up this morning. Did you notice? And I was like, that's the point. The sun came up.
Yeah.
Sun rose.
And you woke up on the right side of the grass.
Day. Right, exactly. And so it is what it is. I'm not bent about it, but I am telling, because I think that a woman's health is a big issue for me, considering that I raised a daughter with Asperger's and been taking care of her since, forever, and looking out for her well-being. She needs to be informed of these things if something should occur. And yes, there's a possibility. People say no, whatever. But if that does, she needs to be informed. My job is to do that. And I feel that way for every woman who has to make that choice. That's a very, very, very difficult position. And you and I, we can never be in their shoes.
No.
So I'm reaching out and saying, hey, look, ladies, I'm with you. I'm with you. I can never carry a child. I can never go with you guys, go through. I get it, but I do lose hair. And there's a big thing there too, and it goes, and I lose hair, and it goes to places that you don't want hair to go. But I get it. And I'm with you guys on this. And, put it this way, every single day I will be in prayer for you guys, of the stuff that you guys got to go through. When you have a right that's been given to you for 50 years to make a choice about your own self, and then all of a sudden it's not there anymore. That's a scary thought. And I can't, like I said, I can't be in their shoes, but I support every woman out there that's got to go through this. And now it's got to face this, and every, God forbid, there's a serious situation that comes up with, any kind of, late term pregnancy issues that happen. We know that they happen with women, and precancerous cells form and everything like that. I told the story about how Ellen was a decision, and we put our trust in our faith completely, because Christine had gotten precancerous cells 7 months into it. So it was either she might develop full uterine cancer, and not only could not carry the full term, but also there's a good chance that she might get get it, the baby being fine, but she might get it, and then you'd be in a bad situation there.
Right.
And we had to make a choice, and that choice was, for us, it was our faith, and luckily, everybody came out and was okay. So, but for the people who don't, my concern is, like, when I think of that situation, like I said, we can only be purveyors of our own history. We only know the things that we've dealt with in our lives and the decisions that we've had to make in that kind of realm. So we can't be in somebody else's position. We can only speak on our own experiences. We can't pontificate on something that we've never experienced, because that's just nothing but air. Even if it's educated, I believe you have to live it out to really understand it. And we both have lived in similar aspects our lives and what we've done and raised.
Yeah.
So we can speak on those things via experience and education. This is one thing that I spoke of based on something that happened to me. It wasn't a political stance. It was something that was happened to me.
Right.
What I decided to do. So when I go and sit there and say, I'm with you ladies on what horrible decisions you might have to make, for the crap that ensued afterwards was uncalled for. And I don't care about your political stance. Okay, I'm going to say this again. I don't give two shits about your political stance, nor do I care if you like or hate my political stance. It's not about that. I'm talking about basic human rights, protection of life. And so that's all. What I'm saying is, to end it, because I don't want to belabor the point, I want to get to the music. And if you don't keep in contact with the person that you're posting with, don't be belligerent and egotistical and just post whatever you feel you should on somebody else's page. That's theirs. Or at least drop by and say hi and say, hey, you know what? I disagree with you. How's everybody doing? How's the fam? I disagree with you. I could shake your hand and do that.
Right.
Like Joe just said when he had a conversation with his friend. We agree to disagree. We're still friends. I still have friends that I don't agree with, but they're my friends. I love them because I know that they would be there for me in a millisecond as much as I would be there for them in a millisecond when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
I never judged a friend for their beliefs, be it political or religion. I judged them on the importance of life, what movies they liked, what bands they liked. Okay, you and I can chat. And I jest about it, but pretty much you got to just keep it simple. There are those out there that are really involved, and more power to them, and I get that. But I'm not about to throw my hat into the ring and go into a serious debate.
Yeah.
A, it's not worth it. B, it's Facebook. Dear God, it's only Facebook.
Absolutely 100% true. Absolutely 100% true.
Again, Facebook is a good thing. When it first came out, I reconnected with everybody, sent a shitload of apologies to people. And it was like, okay, here's a funny picture. Here's a funny quote. Have a nice day. And then you have those that it's their diary. And you know so much about somebody because every day, I woke up and there's all this food.
Love that.
Food. And then you have those that, and again, it's their right. It's their right to post whatever about this person. More power to you. And I take a moment. I'm like, okay, you just keep scrolling. And again, it's like, okay, oh, I know this person. Haven't spoken to this person literally in 6 years. This is their stance. Okay, have a nice day. Scroll up. It's there's no reason for it. I'm not about to pick a fight with somebody and say, oh no, dude, you're wrong because of, X, Y, Z, and Q. And because of, and then it's all hearsay. And then it just gets too involved. And I just, no, it's really, really not worth it. And for somebody, when you see it now, everyone's like, okay, time to weed out the friends, time to get rid of the people that are friends. And no, then they're not your friends, they're acquaintances. If if really if somebody you just don't talk about it. You don't address it. You just you leave it alone. Look, there's a pink elephant. I see the pink elephant too. Did you, watch you ever watch that series, The Boys? Boom. There you go. You haven't? You need to watch it. It's great. It's superhero and porn thrown into one. You'll love it.
Superhero.
And you just move on. You move forward. And just to see all this, it's and and again, just don't talk about it. And it's so I just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, oh God, now I'm quoting fucking Disney. Somebody hit me. But it really it's your choice. It's your opinion. Who am I to tell me your opinion is wrong?
Exactly.
Who am I to tell you that no, that's not, that's you're wrong. Prove to me. And then the battle comes out, and well, I need proof. And it's like, okay, really?
Proof that people give you. It's like from a bunk
Yeah.
site that people write themselves. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Because of course everything on the internet, of course, is truth.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Joe, let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, thanks. I have a friend. She would really appreciate that because but yeah, it's over, it's done with. When you wake up tomorrow, wake up and go, I'm on the right side of the grass. I got other things to worry about than this stuff. You just
Yep.
Okay, there you go. Let's move forward.
Hug your kids, kiss
Yeah.
your wife, and go to work and come home, kiss your wife, hug your kids, eat dinner, and go and put on some good music. There you go.
That's there you go. Good music.
Here's the ticket.
I will quote the Doobie Brothers. Music is the doctor. Music is the medicine. Music is that's all you need.
So I guess we don't have to do the news now, do we?
That's good. Yeah. We could. But
No news today. Obviously, so we just kind of covered it. But let's get into our talk today. And this is something that we were kind of Joe brought up last week. I kind of liked it.
Hi, my name's Jody Leaving.
Thank you very much.
Donna's coming over. Gigi's coming over.
We need a break.
Hey, yo, this is Snoop. Check out my boys Joe and Mike every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. on WTF. What's the format on 99 WNRR? Peace.
There you go. Peace.
Well, actually, this is a very nice segue because scrolling on Facebook, there is a particular band, and I promise you the soapbox is nowhere in sight. But there's a particular band that's got a new singer, and it's all up in arms because the lead singer, unfortunately, is no longer with us by his choice, unfortunately. And they brought in a new singer, and people aren't happy with it. People don't like it.
Oh, Chester.
Yes. And again, I spoke my piece.
Yeah.
But it just had me thinking. I'm like, I took a step aside on my thoughts on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my God. Okay. We're short a singer. We want to keep going. Let's find another singer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who am I to tell the band, no, guys, you're done. It's over. Close the book, move on. And then you look at all these other bands that it kind of made me wonder, because I was thinking about this today. If the internet existed today and the cell phones and all this shit, it was today.
Yeah.
Do you think AC/DC fans would be all up in arms when, unfortunately, when Bon Scott
they,
us.
they be telling everybody, "You're nuts, you're nuts, you're nuts."
Right.
And straight up, um, I think if we can touch, this would be the first band we touch on. I think what happened with that is that, well, first of all, even though they were popular, they weren't AC/DC now popular, where, like, they're gods. Highway to Hell was the album that really brought them into the mainstream or close to it, but they still weren't what they were after. Back in Black is bang is the moment became worldwide, the band.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and so for a lot of people, it's the first voice that they heard with AC/DC was Brian Johnson, not Bon Scott.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll be truth to told, I was never a big AC/DC fan. I heard some stuff from Dirty Deeds. I heard a couple things from Highway to Hell. I didn't know the difference or the history of the band. I was too mired in the other bands that I was following
Me as well.
intently. So when I went and bought, by the way, Back in Black was my very first cassette purchase when it came out, because I heard Back in Black and I went, my God, this is the greatest song ever. So I bike pedaled the 10 miles to the Platypus on Route 34 in Matawan, New Jersey, to go buy that tape, and played it from there, because I couldn't play it. I just put it in the Walkman. I finished the album by the time I got home.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it's phenomenal. And I played that. I wore that tape out inside of a couple months. I had to buy another one, which, my mom wasn't happy about, but he's like, gee, you just bought it. I'm like, yeah, I know. I just killed it. So, that made me now go buy, For Those About to Rock. And then I bought Highway to Hell and Dirty Deeds.
Right.
Early stuff, realizing, oh my God, the early albums are genius. They're really good. And Highway to Hell is one of the best albums, pound for pound, I think, that's ever been made. It's really just, there's not a weak song on it. Neither is Back in Black, but it's a kind of a slightly different. So it's AC/DC to me is one of those bands. Now, I think the rest of them, you could easily say, yeah, it was a good decision, bad decision. This was a forced decision.
Right.
They didn't fire the guy. The guy died. But I like Bon Scott better as a singer. But obviously it was Brian Johnson that brought them into where they are. So obviously the change in singers benefited the band more.
Right.
I don't think they're this big without obviously the death of Bon Scott, but really it wasn't like Elvis dying. It was Bon Scott dying was very low key at that time. Like I said, they never arrived on the worldwide scene like that before. So a lot of people, Brian Johnson is the first singer of AC/DC for a lot of people. And so I don't see where, to me, the necessity of having the second singer was they were the beneficiary of it. The band got bigger. So yes, in that instance for me, yes, it was obviously, to go with Brian, it was the better move. I don't think that they're as big with Bon on Back in Black. I just don't. Thoughts?
Yeah. Like AC/DC, again, I was young when they came out, and of course knew Dirty Deeds, and of course hee chuckle chuckle. Everybody knew Big Balls when they played it on the radio.
Yes.
And you laughed. And then back then I had blinders on and didn't really know a lot of bands, or just purposely ignored a lot of bands. And then Back in Black came out and I was like, oh, okay, this is that AC/DC. This guy sounds different. And then found out the whole backstory. And again, got nothing against him. There was never someone I started collecting or someone I started buying into.
Mm-hmm.
And then decades later, it was pirate radio. They played a Long Way to Top, If You Want to Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a great song. Never mind the fact that it had bagpipes in it, which was a bonus.
Yes, exactly.
For me. But I'm like, and they go, this is AC/DC. And I'm like, holy shit, wait. So then I realized you have two. and then finding everything out. And then unfortunately, still, I'm not about to go out and buy the AC/DC catalog, and not going to start investing. I'm just, no, I'm good. I'll
Mhm.
listen to them and everything. But like I said, everyone accepted that one. The album came out and everyone was like, boom.
Yeah.
And then another album came out and everyone's like, okay, no, we're still good. We're still happy.
You know
And
what's
then
interesting?
they're still there.
You know what's interesting, Joe, about that is that after for those about to rock, the writing start to slide. So the flick of the switch, fly in the wall, blah blah blah. Different drummer. You went to Simon instead of Phil Rudd, so that changed. So the power of the band kind of slid. So what you realize is that, holy crap, now you realized how genius the albums prior to Back in Black were, because the writings after For Those About to Rock really got bad. It wasn't that those albums were not that great. Then you wound up going, like I said, oh, well, you've got High Voltage. You have If You Want Blood, You Got It. Then all of a sudden you dive into those records and you're going, oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. That's good. These are great records. So now your torn is just like, yeah, but I'm kind of used to Brian. I'm not really into Bon. I still like Brian more than I like Bon as a singer. I thought Bon was a little too whiny, it was a little screechy.
I kind of liked it. And I mean,
It's a little screechy to me.
I discovered, what was it? I watched Empire Records, Rex Manning Day, and they played If You Want Blood. And once again, I was like, this is AC/DC. This is Bon AC/DC. I was like, I like this song. That's a great song. That's a kick-ass tune. I was like, okay, this is good. I like this.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I discovered them watching movies and everything. But
I think the look too. I think Brian coming out with the scally and everything like that, and the sleeve rolled up, kind of had a, that Bond didn't really fit, in a lanky, tooth missing.
he looked like
jean jacket. He looked like, yeah.
He was a mix. He was a cross between a punter and a hockey player.
The presentation really wasn't that great. But when all of a sudden Brian came out, he's in black shirt, black pants,
He's got the hat on.
Muscles, got the scally cap going. And you're like, there you go. That's what I expect. So it was more beneficial. Okay, let's go to another one here. Let me see.
Oh, because if you want,
pick one.
Yeah, I got, dude.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the AC/DC is definitely on my list as far as the changeover. But I've got 8 that I could pretend, nine total, but now 8 considering I just talked over AC/DC. But yeah, I got a surprise one actually.
Well, not only do I have like bands that they kind of branched off, but I mean, if you want to talk about like singers, you got Black Sabbath. How many singers were in Black Sabbath?
My next one, yeah, absolutely.
And you scroll down and again, not a huge Sabbath fan.
Mm-hmm.
It was just never my, a handful. Maybe not best of, maybe some deep tracks and all that, but and then you realize like once Heaven and Hell came out and Dio, and then after Dio, I couldn't tell you who sang after that.
Ian Gillan from Deep Purple and Tony Martin.
But then you scroll down and there were just vocalists all over the place. And and as a Sabbath fan, you're like, okay, wait a minute now. I think after a while, you'd be like, wait a minute. Now who's singing on the album? Now who are we going to listen to?
People who sang singers. You got Ron Keel for a bit.
Yeah.
Ronnie James Dio, Ian Gillan, Ray Gillan from Badlands, Dave Walker, Glenn Hughes, the famous Glenn Hughes, Tony Martin, and Dave Donato. But I think you can leave everyone else to the side. We're obviously talking about two people here.
Right.
And I'm not going to go into deep because I want to get to yours and have you elaborate on what you're feeling on that. But I like Ozzy more as a solo artist.
Well, but again, it's still it's not a matter of okay, this, that, and the other, but the new Sabbath album is out, and you pedal to the store, and you go buy the record, and you listen to it, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't. Who the hell's this singing? That doesn't sound like this guy or this. Now it's somebody new, and then you listen to it, and it's like, okay, do I like it because it's Black Sabbath?
Mm-hmm.
Is the lead vocalist the voice of the band? Now I'm looking at it that end. I'm not looking at it as the writing and this, that, and the other. I'm not. You take the technical end. I'll take the simple side.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, do I like this? You might not. All right. And then you buy the next album. And all of a sudden now you have a different one. Somebody else, you're like, now who the hell's singing? Who's this guy? And does it sound better than the previous guy? Does it sound better than the original guy? To like be a Black Sabbath fan after a while, it was, okay, now who's on first? Who's it this week? And the band just kept going. And it like I said, were fans just accepting of every singer and was like, yeah, I like, okay, yeah, this, or, did some albums do better than others? Did some albums do worse? Were some albums completely ignored? Like going to okay, I got tickets to see Sabbath. Okay. Who's singing? That's how I kind of looked at it and figured it out. Is everyone okay with this? Or did everyone just say, yeah, we're done. Let's find another band to follow and press on with. But that's my rant.
There's Children of the Grave. There's so many iconic songs and stuff like that. But there was something about when Ronnie came into the scene. He brought a darkness there that, it was weird because when you look at Ozzy, he looks messed up. So you kind of think that there's a lot of dark stuff going on. But when you get to see all the interviews, they're like, no, dude, he was just a regular guy, just whatever, taking or drinking or something like that. But there was something about Ronnie that brought a heaviness, a darkness, and a range that Ozzy didn't have. A growl, a scream. And while I rebelled against it initially, Heaven and Hell to me is their best record.
Oh, love that album.
Gotta be their most complete record. Nothing I think ever tops stuff like NIB, Sweet Leaf, Children of the Grave, obviously Paranoid and Iron Man, and so many others down the line. But collectively as an album, as a statement, and a track, Heaven and Hell. Sing me a song, you're a song. Hello, how you doing? That just captivated you. So to me, Black Sabbath, even though that they had really great singers down the line, and Tony Martin, don't sleep on Tony Martin, the records he did. Tony Martin was great for that band. Weird lineup. Everybody played in that band. Constant was Tony.
Yes.
But
and I remember a Black Sabbath album came out and it was just Tony on the cover.
Yes, it was.
I can't remember the title of it. I remember when it came into the store, but it was like Black Sabbath. I even think it said featuring Tony Iommi.
Yeah, it did.
And it was just him on the cover.
Yeah, I remember
the photo, and I was like,
hands in the jacket, the thing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so this.
I think that's the Tony Martin record.
Probably.
I think that's Tony Martin record. Black Sabbath, because we like to go forward with our know where the hell we are. We don't like to just throw it up there. I do believe, let me see, Seventh Star. I think it was Seventh Star. Let me see, Seventh Star. Wikipedia, the 12th studio album by one and only. No, that was Glenn Hughes. No, was it Glenn Hughes? Or was he just writing on it? Who was on this record? Yeah, it was Glenn Hughes on the Seventh Star. Tony Iommi, Glenn Hughes, Eric Singer on drums.
Yeah, he was in it for a minute.
And a minute and a half. You know what? I never really heard Cross Purposes. I never heard that record. Who was on that one? That was Tony Martin's record. Yeah, Tony Geezer and Bobby Rondinelli on drums. From anybody? Any Bobby Rondinelli?
Bueller.
Rainbow.
Okay.
Great drummer. Loved Bobby. Big hair. Look at Stone Cold and Can't Happen Here. He's the dude who looked like
the Joe Lynn Turner Rainbow. Okay.
Yeah, Joe Lynn Turner Rainbow. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So yes, love. Might as well Gump. That's awesome. All right, so you know what? I think that the boys in the chat brought this one up, so I'm going to go right to that. It was on mine. It's down the list because I have some other cool ones to talk about. So we're both in agreement. Dio was the better singer.
That one, yeah.
It might have not been as popular for the band, but I like the Dio version. A lot of people do. Let's go Van Halen, because this is two different camps for a lot of people, and there's no way you're never gonna sell me on a Van Hagar. You're never gonna sell me on it. As I said before, and I'll say it again, Van Hagar is pop crap.
Well, that's the thing.
They lost their edge. They lost who they were. They lost their identity. Even Alex in his book just said it. He said he doesn't count the Van Halen years with Sammy. He doesn't count them. He said that band was David. The band was David and Eddie together. That sound, that trade-off, that first freaking record, which is so originally bombastic. I mean, forget even just the rest of the records. You take that debut record in 78 and you put it on, and to this day, it measures and blows away 98% of the crap that's ever been recorded. It's just a monster of a record. And I don't think it still doesn't get its due as one of the greatest debut albums of all time. Because there's some covers on it and some crap like that, but still, it's
again. I think
Fair Warning is the best. Fair Warning is my favorite record, but that first record, give me a break. Come on.
I think you have two different bands, because with Dave, you had the songs, and you had Eddie Eddie really early, young, hungry, doing his thing and doing it well. But then also on the performance side, you had Dave, who was the showman, who just knew how to work the stage, work the crowd, get everybody going, and had that energy, and everybody liked it because it was more of an attitude. It wasn't, he wasn't just a singer. He brought something more to the plate. Then when they invited Sam wasn't that showman. He wasn't the one flailing and doing splits and jumps and all that. Sam was He was a musician. He played guitar. He wrote hard rock songs. He did all this stuff, and they're like, okay. So I don't dislike or say or get on the oh, forget about it and this, that, and the other. I just think they're two different entities.
Yeah, they are. You can't measure one without the other.
Right. And
But if I were to take the vibe, right? The vibe, you go to listen to Eat 'Em and Smile, that's more Van Halen than Van Halen. I listened to Eat 'Em and Smile, and that hit, that balls out approach, like in Yankee Rose, heavy riffing,
yeah,
punch to the gut, that's more Van Halen than 5150. They came out at the same time. Remember, it was 5150 versus Eat 'Em and Smile. I side with Eat 'Em and Smile way before I do 5150. It was too polished. I mean, I remember, I don't know if it was, we were in, you might have been in the car. I think we were all together. We were up there, and I remember it. I remember because it came out. It came out 86. You know, we didn't know each other until a year later. But I remember us being in the car, and that song came on, and we were like, turn this shit off. They're
also coming off the A 1984 with the keyboards, and said, okay, well, and tried to add keys to it and add something else to the sound, and just made it different.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't begrudge either version. I really don't. Which goes to the earlier conversation. I never got into a heated debate or discussion or an argument about him. I just, okay. You don't like the album. All right. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
It
just wasn't, I guess the point, the overall point that I'm trying to make with this, as far as Van Halen goes, is that while it was a separate entity, I agree with you, it became a separate entity. It ended the originality of the first version.
Well,
who knows where that could have gone. I always count as Eat 'Em and Smile the 6th Van Halen record, because it was so in line. You could put on 1984, and you could put on Eat 'Em and Smile, and you really, there are similarities in between those two. There are similarities. So there's a progression there. Like I said, Yankee Rose people even say Yankee Rose is one of the best Van Halen songs ever written that he didn't play on. So yeah, there's that. So I do, where Van Halen went off in a completely different direction, and they felt they needed to. They appealed to a wider audience. Obviously, it got them way more money, way more popular, and sold way more records, because they, as I say, for me, they sold out. They lost their rock and roll soul on 5150, and I'm here to finish what you started. Give me a break.
All right.
Standing on top of the world, give me a break. Give me a break. You're right now. Hey, on tomorrow, right now. Hey.
All right.
Everything right now. Hey.
This can go on. This can go on for God knows how long, and we kind of know where we stand. And later on, I will tell you your actual opinion on how you should feel about Van Halen. I'll let you know. I'll text it to you.
It's true. See, that's the point, though. I will give credit on that track, though. I will give credit. Pound Cake is a kick-ass song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good song. But again, that's Eddie. When Eddie got experimental, he went back to what he did good. Not only that, he grew his hair back. Eddie was Eddie when Pound Cake came out. So I was like, yes, absolutely. And that sounded like, except That's the only thing I could do with that.
So his power was in his hair. Okay.
Um, let's do something that we're going to start doing now on the radio program, which is we're going to infuse the Launchpad Live Top 20 Countdown by picking 3 to 4 bands, and we're going to review the bands that'll be selected into the top 20, and then you guys can take a listen to them. So I got the first band that we're going to put on right here. We're going to listen to it. You can only hear it on the radio because due to legal reasons, we're not going to play it here on the YouTube. Sorry, guys. So make sure you're tuned into the radio station. That includes Joe. I heard it. So I'm going to get myself a cup of water because I'm starting to get dry. This band is called Stealing Handshakes. Okay. And they are out of Pampa, Texas. And let's kick this one off with a track called The Fallout here, debuting on the WTF radio show and live cast with Mike and Joe here on a Wednesday night on 99 WNRR. Crank it up. 99 WNRR, stealing handshakes here on the WTF radio show and live cast here from Pampa, Texas. That's called The Fallout. We bring back Joe into the program as the track closes out there. Yeah, I'm a fan of that track.
I like that. I enjoyed that. I like songs that have like the nice little build up to it. That's the build up, and then the kicker solo kicks in, and a nice little jam and a nice little riff.
Yeah, those are pretty kicking solo.
Yeah, that one.
Like the arrangement, the vocals, obviously the harmonies were well done, well crafted. The production on the track is well done. First of all, you got to understand the amount of stuff that we get. Okay, we get a lot of substandard stuff. Like everyone and everyone's cousin sends us stuff. So there's stuff out there that just is just not. It's not playable, guys. It's not competitive. That's a competitive song. When you hear that, you could say, yeah, okay, with proper representation, proper, back in the day, this maybe does some, make some noise, but the way the industry is, that doesn't happen. But the bottom line is that it has merit. There's a lot of merit to it. And that's why it gets played on the LPL and why it gets put up into the vote coming tomorrow morning. So that's one of them. Yeah, cool. Anything special about the song that caught you?
Like I said, the build up to it. It starts out kind of mellow, and it's kind of growing and growing and growing. Then the solo kicks in. It's like but definitely, I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear a song and you feel it, you start.
What do you think of how it tailed off? Do you think it was too long? I thought maybe the drums at the end were maybe it was maybe a little extended. A little. So,
but I started listening to it and then I started moving. So I was like, I feel this. Okay, I'm feeling the song. So that's a good thing. It's like, yeah, I can listen to this.
Okay, 1 out of 10. What do you think?
1 out of 10. I don't want to offend anybody, but
no, give your honest opinion.
I'd give it a 7.
You know what? I'm kind of there. I'm kind of like a 7.5.
Yeah,
I'm kind of. Like
you two are a 7. I'm telling you, you're a 7 as well.
Oh,
I'm going to text it to you. It's a 7. Okay. I'm going to tell you your opinion.
Okay.
And it's going to change your opinion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can you send me a Facebook text underneath the post?
So, yeah, we'll do. Okay. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay.
I'm
gonna go 8.7. I might 8's kind of aggressive. I'm still gonna say 7.5. It's a solid track. So everyone, one listen. Everyone knows the rules. It's got to be a t-shirt. One listen, everybody knows the rules. So he's got one bite, everyone knows the rules. You know what I'm talking about. Pizza guy, Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
Okay. So us, it's one listen, everybody knows the rules.
Okay, good.
So we've got to put that in. And what we'll do is we'll do a record with a slice taken out of it. Like a pizza.
Yeah.
Genius.
There you go.
I'm gonna sell at least 10 shirts on that.
There you go.
All right. So again, Stealing Handshakes making the top 20 vote for tomorrow morning from Pampa, Texas, with a great track called The Fallout. Well done, boys. Well done. Hope
yes.
we can have you on and talk to you about the track. Let me see. I'm gonna throw this next one out there. Well, I threw Van Halen, so you go next.
I just started thinking of other bands, and like there was the obvious ones. I was kind of hoping to avoid the Van Halen thing because that's just a whole. And I think
that's a shit show.
I think we all understand and know where you're coming from, but going with the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Foreigner was just put in, and Foreigner did release an album.
Wow, there you go. That's in my top. That's in my 8. Absolutely.
They did release an album with Kelly Hansen.
Yes.
Now, again, I don't pay attention to Foreigner as I do other bands. So I don't know if everybody was up in arms over Kelly Hansen. And I listened to the album, and I I I I didn't think it was a bad album. He didn't sound just like Lou. So
No,
I
he's
don't
got
think
his
they were
own
going
vibe. He's got his own vibe.
right. So it was like, okay. And I mean, I give him credit also for putting out an album. They're not just grabbing a singer and then just playing festival after festival, show after show, and the same songs. Where bands that have been out since the 70s with a catalog and a history, they no longer put out new music, but yet the lineups change and people change and they go on shows. I don't have any bands like that. I look at a band who's going to put out an album, put out new product with the new singer, and move forward with that. Unfortunately, that was the only he only made one album with them, but it was it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. And then I saw Hurricane back in 86, 87, 88. They opened for Gary Moore.
Yeah.
And the drummer for Gary Moore was Eric Singer. But that's, and I don't recall anyone getting all up in arms or screaming or yelling. They just he seemed to have been accepted, and everyone was good with that. And everyone's like, okay, sure, we like it. And apparently they're still playing out, and apparently that I don't know if they're filling in a stadium, but I think there's more than 20 people when they play live. So,
well, I can tell you when they do play live, it actually sells out. It does well for amphitheaters. I mean, there's nothing that's going to replace Lou Gramm, and those are iconic records. Foreigner 4, Double Vision are just they're masterclass records. First record, so there's nothing that's ever going to replace it. So I'm always going to side and say the better choice was just to let Lou do it, and that's it. But Lou can't sing anymore, and I understand that they wanted to carry on. So I don't count this as like the Van Halen or the Black Sabbath, but I will say this: I did see that version with Kelly, and I can tell you that I partied my ass off. It was so good. Mick was there, so it was somewhat legit. So I saw Mick Jones play in some of the last shows he ever did, actually, in the BB&T over in Camden. But I can tell you this, that they were legit. That was Jeff Pilson on bass, too, by the way, from Dokken. And, of course, Steel Dragon. One of our favorite bands, Steel Dragon.
Oh.
But I absolutely nailed it. He was awesome. They played all the classic songs. They nailed each one of them, and no lip syncing. He sang his ass off, and I was just like, wow. So Kelly, while I'm not going to side with you, Kelly, as far as the best move for the band, I'm going to say thank you for keeping the music alive, because you did a kick-ass job for the longest time. And you deserve a hell of a lot of applause, man. And that was pretty cool. I mean, I heard the thing that they did when they did they did a few shows where they brought back some of the old members of the band, and they did like a couple songs, and then they switched with the new members and stuff like that. That happened 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. They switched off. They had some of the new members of the band they played, then they did a set with the original members of the band, or at least the 4 lineup, which was Dennis on drums and Rick Wills on bass, and Lou and Mick. They were a 4-piece at that time, and they did Agent Provocateur and Say You Will. They did stuff from Foreigner 4. So that was cool. And then for the older stuff, they brought back some of the older people. So, but they mixed it in. So it was really cool that they did what Kiss didn't do. They brought the whole family together to play together, but they did it on tour, and they didn't care who got the money because everyone got the money. So, I mean, Foreigner, kudos for doing the right thing and
Yes.
ending it the right way. You want to end the band the right way? End it the way Foreigner did. Even though that they had a bunch of musicians touring it out, it still sounded great. I was partying my ass off. It was a great live show. I have no complaints about Foreigner with what they did. Let's get into another track because we're getting into 10:15 right now. This band on the top 20 is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. They're called the American Hotel System. They used to be called the American Hotel Syndicate. I wonder why they changed their name, but they got a cool sound. It's not exactly heavy, but they got a pretty good vibe sound. Again, this band out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, debuting here on the Launchpad Live, the American Hotel System. I'm wondering if they changed their name, but they used to be the American Hotel Syndicate. This track is called Seattle. Right now, here on the WTF radio show with Mike and Joe. Yeah, that's it. That is the American Hotel System with the track Seattle here on 99 WNRR, the WTF radio show and livecast with Mike and Joe here on a Wednesday night. It is 10:19 here on the East Coast for Legal Tender here on 99 WNRR, live over the YouTube as well as over the TuneIn. Just select your, just go back to your Echo Dot or whatever smart speaker you have, and just say, "Hey Alexa, I want to hear 99 WNRR on TuneIn." And live, you and I will be, Joe and I will be live in your face all over the place on your speakers. So good to be with you for Legal Tender, as I haven't done that in a while, man. I haven't done the runoff. I haven't done the lead in a long time. Good to see you. It's still there.
Well, it sounded nice.
Okay. So a little different, kind of
Yeah.
has a, oh, what's the band? Sex on Fire. Oh, what's that band's name?
Screaming Trees.
No.
Oh, yeah. I know the song.
Kings of Leon.
Thank you.
Very, very Kings of Leon vibe. I dug it. It's kind of different. It has some ebbs and flows. But to me, it was again another well produced, solidly written, solidly performed track. I didn't find too many weaknesses in it. It is what it is as far as a style goes, but I do think that it has a really the fills and everything else that happened on that song. I think it's a good track, solid track. I'm still in the range like the. I'm a solid 7 on that one.
This one, it didn't catch me from the beginning,
Okay.
and I had to, listen to it and listen to it. I kind of dug the chorus, and that brought me into it. But it was some different feel to it. Liked it, but I might have to listen to it maybe once or twice again to really come to a full whether or not. But that one, I might give that just a 6. It didn't pull me in immediately, and it's like it was good. And again, I'm just somebody listening to it, but it was nice. Not thrilling,
Okay.
but nice.
All right, cool. Before we get to our, I think we'll do one more band. As far as that, we could take this into next week because I got a couple more too, so we can kind of double time. But I'm gonna give you a lead-in track to the next band that I think we're gonna talk about. This one, I'm sending this one out to Joe. 99 WNRR. That's right, boys and girls. Motley Crue. Sounding real good on this record, Little Hooligans Holiday. We're going to talk about Ian Karabi rocks. Crank this up.
Hell yeah. Definitely.
Everybody wants a piece of the action. The action. Yeah. We all want a piece of the action. We all want a piece of the pie here at 99 WNRR. Mike and Joe here, the WTF radio show and live cast here over the YouTube. And of course, every Wednesday night here on 99WNRR.com. Good to be with you here on Wednesday night. Yeah, 1028 here on the East Coast. A very balmy East Coast. What's going on, man?
Oh, such a good song.
I know, right? It's
I'm
like
sorry.
a couple of great. Misunderstood's a great song. Let me see. Love Shine's a great song. There are a few cracking ones. Crackers. There's a few crackers on here. Cracking good. Cracking good.
That album, this album, they should have just called it something else. Called it anything else.
I would think about if it wasn't called Motley Crue.
That's the argument.
And I agree with you. Think about that. I mean, think about that. And just say if it just came out of its own, a whole different band. By the way, you could say featuring Tommy Lee, Mick Mars, and blah blah from Motley Crue. It would have done so much better.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. People would have accepted it for what it was. They would have said, this is not a Motley Crue record. Okay.
Even you had 3 out of the 4 of the original, just call it the Crew.
No.
Okay. Fred's band.
I would call it look like the band. Like you got call it Misunderstood or something. Anything. You got great Poison Apples. You call it Hooligan's Holiday. It's a great name for it. That's crazy.
And the kicker is now to find this and to buy it online, vinyl, forget about it. That's serious. But to find it on CD, people are asking a few dollars more for it. And a year after it came out. It was in CD World and in the used rack. There was just a row of this CD. Nobody gave it a chance. Nobody, which we can rewind up to. Did they think? I don't know what they thought, but this is an excellent album that just doesn't get any credit, any airplay, anything. It's just kind of forgotten. It's a cult classic.
Wow. Holy shit. You are damn correct. You cannot find that. And there's a European version I just saw in Germany for $5
on vinyl or CD.
$5 on vinyl.
Yeah.
$5
about vinyl.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's some serious bones right there, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll settle for the CD. I don't know if the yellow or the red is the more
like
rare.
40?
But
what's the CD going for? Like 40?
I don't know. I paid $5.
Let me see what Motley Crue CD, Misunderstood, Motley Crue CD. No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it, the whole thing. Nope, I'm seeing the singles.
Motley Crue 94.
Here we go. Yeah, $10. $10.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's out there for $10. I might, you know what? I might have to do that.
But you have two different covers.
There's the red cover and the yellow cover.
Right. I don't know which one's more rare.
Red leather, yellow leather,
red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow. Lieutenant Steve.
Red leather, yellow leather.
So that you have your choice of color of CD.
And orange, and you have the orange.
There's an orange?
Yeah, Japanese import is orange.
Oh, no, see, I'm happy.
I'm gonna put this right now, add to the cart right there. Bang.
But it's such a great album. And I mean, is it a Motley Crue album? By name, yes. But John brought something completely different, a whole new sound, a whole new feel. Me personally, and I'll probably get a whole bunch of gruff for it, but I've said it before quietly, and this is by and large my favorite Motley Crue album. Motley Crue, the original Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Listen to Too Fast for Love all the time, borrowed the vinyl from a friend of mine, listened to it every night before went to bed. Yeah. He had Shout at the Devil, listen to that one as well. I can only take Vince for so much for so long. After a while, I'm kind of good. I'm okay. Like I can handle a best of Motley Crue with maybe one or two different deep cuts. Like Live Wire is a great tune. And Wild Side, I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'll listen to this Motley Crue album in its entirety. And not a thing wrong with it. And it just doesn't get anything. It's a shame.
I agree with you. But to me, like I said, it's a different record. It's not Motley Crue. So
right.
It doesn't qualify to me as a Motley Crue record. The only thing that qualifies it as Motley Crue is that 3 of the members play on the record. But as far as a sound, it's not a Motley Crue record because nothing they ever did after that or prior to it sounded like that record. So I can't qualify it as a Crue record.
Right.
But in of itself is a great record. But for me, if I'm going to go that way, there are so many memories and you know, the birth when Shout at the Devil came out, that was like, yeah, we first hit them over the head because they're trying to be a combination between Priest and Kiss. You know, the heavier makeup, the
minute you saw makeup on somebody, you're like, oh, you're trying to be like Kiss. Way to go.
But the get-ups were Kiss / Judas Priest inspired. But yeah, no, matter of fact, it's one of the reasons why I want it and why I want it in the vinyl collection, because there's something you got Shout, you got Looks to Kill, but then you've got Too Young to Fall in Love, 10 Seconds to Love, Danger, which is just a hidden classic on that record, Red Hot. there's so many songs of the time on that record, and
Right.
and it really was. It's like when you hear, you heard the beginning and you da da da. It's absolutely metal. There you go. So I couldn't, yeah, I still have to say Shout at the Devil is the classic, and they shouldn't have veered from that. Why they went to the Colors and did the Dynasty thing on Theater of Pain, I have no idea. And they did. Let's just face facts, boys and girls. Okay. Theater of Pain is the Dynasty record for Motley Crue, but Kiss did it better because Dynasty was a better record than Theater of Pain. Although Theater of Pain does have probably the best written metal ballad of all time. I'm convinced you could take Open Arms and Faithfully. Give me Home Sweet Home. I will take Home Sweet Home as your preeminent metal ballad over any song.
All right. Well, I'm going to disagree with you, and then I'll fight about it later with you and try to convince you.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can't be friends anymore.
As long as we post about it.
Yeah, I'm going to post about it.
As long as you post it in the thread.
Yeah.
So I have a chance to sit there and say, "Oh,
you are completely wrong and you were off the mark. You know nothing. Don't quit your day job." Something like that. No, Home Sweet Home, that's a song like everybody knows.
But
everybody.
As simple as it is, it's an iconic guitar solo. It's, when they keep on doing the canon with the guitar solo, Home Sweet Home, da, 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 Home Sweet.
Yeah, everything
about that is just so it's emotional, that song. It really is. And it's so, I've seen Too Many Romantic Dreams. I that whole song, people say it's overplayed. Yes, it's overdone, but it really is one of the, if not one of the best metal ballad ever written. It just is. I don't know why. People will say, "Oh, well, you've got the Bon Jovi ballads and Heaven with Warrant, and Warrant with Heaven, and the stuff that everybody else did." I can't find anything that had that kind of impact that song.
Well, apparently you're not listening to enough Winger.
Yeah,
I was going to say that once, but no, I got nothing bad to say about Motley Crue with Vince Neil.
Yeah.
It's just, for me personally, after a while, I'm just like, okay. And that whole feel, that whole vibe, I love that album. But and it's a shame that nothing further ever came with it. And it's an even bigger shame that it just kind of gets buried. And it's the album we don't speak of. It's the album that doesn't exist. And I just love it when you scroll through Facebook and like these blabbermouth and all these things. It's like the one album Vince Neil won't talk about. Oh, gee, which album is that? Yeah, really? Come on now. You're going to interview him and ask him such a silly question.
Yeah. Speaking of records, before we get into the last track to do a review of, album I've been really getting into that I overlooked, I'll admit, except for a couple of tracks, The Unforgettable Fire. What a friggin' record. Oh my God. I have a sort of Homecoming like on repeat. I'm like constantly playing that song. There's so much going on in there, and I never really got into listening to it, but so I started, prior to the trip, I started listening to it. I brought that whole damn thing. I played that in the car, cranking on the M7, driving down southern part of Ireland. It was absolutely mint. This next band that we're going to give a little review of is a band from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. They're called Mawcore, Mawcore. And we're going to listen to a track right now called War Cry here on 99 WNRR. 1040 here on the East Coast with Mike and Joe. It's the WTF. Check it out. Uh, a little more core right there from, I believe it was Mechanicsburg. No, Chambersburg. Chambersburg, PA, right here on the WTF radio show. Okay, so some parts I like, some parts I think come in a little short. One thing I'm not a fan of is that there's no real ebb and flow with separation of chorus and verse. I think
Yeah.
it's almost like monotone in a way. Not the vocals are monotone, but the song, in other words, dynamics. Not enough dynamics. Where we heard in the beginning with all the techno stuff, I was like, okay, wow, this has a potential of really blowing up. But then it kind of like streamlined. Performance is okay. The recording could be better. Still strong enough to make the top 20 for a vote. I'm gonna get. I'm like a 5.5 on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. When you first started it, the like the opening sound, the keyboards and everything had that 80s feel that I like. Um, that drew me in. I was like, ooh, like my ears pricked up and said, okay, this. But then it just, yeah, things kind of got lost and with it, and it didn't kind of pull me back in. Didn't keep me
Yeah,
listening to it. Didn't keep me okay. It kind of petered and kind of lost me a little bit. Um, but yeah, it started off and then just it grabbed me and then just little by little kind of let me go but nothing. No, the wow didn't stay.
yeah. In other words, it had those moments of wow,
Right.
but it didn't build on it. And that's the thing about the song. Like I said, there's moments in here of great originality, and I think of moments, and I think when you're recording a song and when you're making a record, that's what it's about. It's about having moments in that song. So I think that there are some moments in there, but because of either the recording of it or the arrangement of it takes away. There needs to be more dynamics. I think that they maybe probably just had the vibe and played it a little safe. I would take that. I would honestly take that back in, rework the vocals a little bit, give me some more high, give me some more low, right? Not so monotone. In key, nothing flat. So the performance was fine, but really extend yourself. Really extend yourself. You know, put yourself in, instead of singing a melody line, put yourself into it and let it take you there. Break stuff up. So that's why we say where the song has merits in it, there are things that it could be done, I think, to make it even a better song. So I think that can you improve on this song? Absolutely. Is it still warranted where you can listen to it? Absolutely. So there are, like I said, this is where I'm on the fence. I give it a 5.5. Fair enough. What do you grade?
Uh, Part of the song, after listening to it, it part of it reminded me of Major Tom by Peter Schilling.
Yeah, I got that. I got that out of it. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like Earth Below, but um, again, yeah, it's just something about it that I can't describe. It didn't keep my interest. Didn't keep me going. So once again, yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I'll just give it a 5.
2 to 5. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're kind of in the same way. We're kind of in the same line. We're going to do 4 next week, guys. We've got a lot more coming up. And don't forget, you're going to check out the on the LPL, and we're going to rebrand the LPL, the Launchpad Live fan vote and everything. So you'll see all that stuff there as well. So make sure you get involved with the LPL. Lots of stuff. So it's just an extra page that we'll be populating a lot of our stuff. I'll actually transfer, and I'll give Joe access to that page as well, so he could start sharing some stuff on that page as well, because there's a lot of interaction. The fan base loves sharing it. So on the average, you get about 3,000 to 5,000 people sharing and talking about each individual vote every week. So that's a lot of people to engage with and talk about music as we do. So I'm excited. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to do this.
Yeah.
And I think we could probably add, like when we do one, we'll have one of the bands come on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that might work.
Because in a sense, it's it's what we used to do from the beginning. Sit around, listen to music. What did you think of this one?
What did you give this one?
Yeah, what did you think of that one?
Absolutely. So that's what we do. Hey, man, great show.
Yes.
Great
Yes, indeed.
show. Anything, any parting words today?
No,
Anything
no. Don't forget to go to Pork Roll Apparel for all your materialistic needs.
Yes, all of your material. We're going to be doing I got a few concepts to put in there. So I got to go over those with you when I get a moment and say, "Hey, what do you think about these?" So be on the lookout for some new cool stuff that we'll put in there. We'll probably put some wisecracking t-shirts. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to. That's who we are. So we have to come up with some stuff. So it'll be in there. We'll definitely get there'll definitely be cool stuff in there by Thanksgiving, because we all know you guys want to shop. So there's going to be a couple of cool things that we're going to come up with, and then I'll design it real quick. We'll put it in there. We'll populate, so you guys get to have some cool little stocking stuffers for your friends, musician friends, and then some for the holidays. So we'll keep those shirts kind of cheap. We know that we're not out of the inflation thing yet, although things look pretty decent. But we'll give you that opportunity. Otherwise, dude, I've had a great time tonight. Cannot wait already to get to next week. Don't forget, the vote goes up tomorrow. We'll be doing our picks of the week and so much more on WTF. Guys, I'm Mike.
I am Joe.
Peace.
Peace
Good
out.
show, bud. We'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, if we could just cue the damn music. Yeah. Yes.